What's going on there, ladies and gentlemen? Big 30 back with another reaction video. This time I'm reacting to this case right here where the man on the left that you see here, well, he took the life of this young man, this 12-year-old right here, who jumped in front of the bullet as he was shooting through the windows of his two half sisters. You know why his half sisters? We gonna get into this story as soon as I roll the clip. Before I roll the clip, push the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more updates. Let's get into it.
School and continue to learn, and it's not only a loss for the family but also a loss for our community. We lose the promise of a young mind, of a young child that could have been something great.
A 12-year-old boy murdered. His family says he died protecting them. Now a manhunt is underway for the man deputies say killed Carlos.
Now, should that even have to come to that? The 12-year-old had to jump in front of a bullet to save two of his half-sisters? I mean, we will get into more of that. We'll get into more of that as the video goes along.
Fernandez.
But we desperately need the community's help in locating him.
Thanks for joining me for Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Carlos Fernandez was a sweet 12-year-old boy. His family described him as smart, fun, and caring. They said in his obituary that he lit up every room, and you can kind of see that in all of...
Oh, by the way, let me put a disclaimer in here. This is for educational purposes only. I do not own the right to this video. This is for educational purposes only. I do not own the right to this video. This is fair use.
The photos of him. Like many boys his age, he liked to play video games and basketball, and he enjoyed playing outside with his sisters and his cousins. But all of that came to an end on March 4th when the Harris County Sheriff says this man, Terry Brian Rivera, shot and killed Carlos.
Damn. Man, you see this dude? Tattoos on his head, his neck. I mean, tell me this guy ain't bad news.
At his family's apartment outside of Houston. Here's one of the homicide detectives with the sheriff's office.
On March 4th, deputies responded to a shooting call to the 13,900 block of Alderson. It's culminated in this tragic event, the shooting death of Carlos Fernandez. Through the course of the investigation, we identified a suspect, Terry Rivera. We filed a capital murder charge from Mr. Rivera, and we're seeking the public's any information the public may have as to where his whereabouts are.
Now, this case is incredibly disturbing, and one thing that makes it even more so is the fact that Terry Brian Rivera had been to the apartment where Carlos lived with his mom and sisters a couple of days before he's accused of shooting and killing Carlos.
I'm aware as well that there was a previous call for service Friday night involving Terry arriving there at the apartment complex, creating a disturbance. During his involvement there, he did brandish a gun. He did assault Ashley, allegedly, and that's what we did. Our deputies spent between 30 to 45 minutes on that scene that night, collecting information and also contacting the district attorney's office. At the end, it was decided that...
Shit, how long did it take them before they finally got over there? Like 30 minutes to an hour? Like they usually do?
The charges weren't accepted at the time based on the information that was available. And it didn't go further in terms of at that moment. A report was generated by our deputy. It appears that the deputy did the most that the deputy could do at that point, and the case was to be continued or sent over for additional follow-up investigation.
Terry Rivera.
See, y'all dropped the damn ball. Because you dropped the damn ball by not apprehending him sooner, he was still on the loose, and he came back the next day, and he did what he did.
Rivera had two children with Carlos's mother, Ashley Rostro. Rostro had told police that Rivera...
There you go. She got two children with that guy. Right after she had him with another dude.
Tried to get into the apartment, reaching into a window, and pushing a TV off of the dresser. Carlos then sprang into action.
I also want to just mention just what a heroic act he did till the very end. It's my understanding that I initially thought he was sleeping in the room, but it's my understanding he was sleeping, I think, in the living room. And when he heard the commotion, he could have.
Yeah, it's good to say that's a heroic act by a 12-year-old, but that should have never happened. He should still be alive today. If it wasn't for his mom getting knocked down, getting her back blown out by thugs, which is why she had 2 other children.
Could have just hidden. He could have ran a mom or somebody or done something else. He ran to the danger. He ran to go check on his sisters, 6 and 7 years old, to protect them. And in some ways he did, because that bullet could have easily injured one of them. And he'd be with us, but it would have been tragic nonetheless.
The mom fell asleep while all that took place, so she didn't know what happened.
But the fact that he went to investigate himself, to go see what was happening, to see what was commotion, really speaks to his strength, the hero that he was, the young man that he was. Again, I could only imagine how.
I mean, she fell asleep after the gunman tried to call her, and she wouldn't let him in.
Much greatness was going to come from Carlos Fernandez as he continued to grow up, and it's a loss for our community.
Can you imagine? A 12-year-old boy running toward noise, being hit by a bullet that could have actually hit his 2 younger sisters, who were actually Terry Rivera's children. The sheriff says Rivera fired into that apartment through the open window. The affidavit charging Rivera with Carlos's murder includes chilling details. It says that Carlos's mother, Ashley, told police she was asleep when she heard someone say, "Yeah, what's up? What's up?" And then the shots were fired. Ashley Rostro told police she was 100% sure the voice she heard was Terry Rivera's. The affidavit says Rostro told police that Rivera called her from a blocked number, and she told him, "You were just here." And he responded, "I know, I know." Now, there are a lot of questions about why Rivera wasn't arrested for the incident the Friday before, when he is accused of assaulting Carlos's mother, showing up at the apartment with a gun.
First of all, he wasn't present.
Yeah, I guess so. After you showed up, he wasn't present.
So there was no one to arrest at the scene. He was charged. Yeah. Charged but arrested he wasn't on the scene. As far as charged, it's my understanding, I obviously wasn't there, but based on our review, that the elements of the crime, of what was conveyed at the scene and passed on to the district attorney's office in its review, which is customary for us to contact them as they listen to the elements of the crime and what we had. Certain elements they felt weren't made while there was a weapon present. It wasn't already pointed or directly at someone other than having it present.
I guess from their perspective is he just got up there, brandished his gun. She called the cops. He got away, and they got over there, conducted a 45-minute investigation into that incident, and there was nothing he can do because he just got up there, brandished his gun. He didn't fire any shots or anything. So I'm guessing that's their perspective.
Present, and again, needed more follow-up. I think the gun was pointed at a vehicle and threats to shoot up the vehicle. The gun was present, and then there were also aspects of the assault happening. There's not always charges filed immediately at the scene. It's not uncommon for it to be sent over for additional follow-up investigation.
So was this an issue with the DA's office or the sheriff's office handling of the complaint at the scene? There was a threat made with a gun. Sheriff Gonzalez said they're reviewing the incident and how it was handled, and in hindsight, they wish that...
Well, either way, they both dropped the ball, the DA and the sheriff.
Rivera had been locked up, but ultimately, Sheriff Gonzalez said Rivera is responsible for what happened, for killing Carlos. At the press conference, where the sheriff and Carlos's family pleaded with the public for help in finding Terry Rivera, Carlos's uncle talked about his nephew, and how sweet he was.
You know, losing my nephew, you know, that's
We don't skim
probably
past this part.
just because he was the mood all the way to the very end. You know, he always put everybody else in front of him. It's ridiculous, you know. And when you got people like this just out here not caring and
Well, in this case, he put himself in front of his two half sisters, and he paid the ultimate price.
it's crazy.
And there's another twist to all of this. Rivera's mother, Alva Cornejo, has been charged with hindering the apprehension of her son. Her bail was set at
Oh yeah, his mama ain't shit.
$25,000 on Monday morning. Meanwhile, Rivera has a long rap sheet. Now he faces a capital murder charge for Carlos's death, and the sheriff has a warning for anyone else who might be helping him hide.
He's still on the run. He's still wanted for capital murder, and we're not going to rest until we find him. And we also want to send a very strong message to anyone that may be hiding him out or assisting him that you too will be fouled on. And we'll encourage that if you're out there trying to conceal him, hide him, assist him, or anything. He's wanted. He's wanted for capital murder, the highest charge possible. And so we want to make sure that we're doing everything possible to locate him and that no one's out there assisting him, because you will be fouled on as well for doing that.
Oh yeah, now they stern after they done messed up the first time.
Anyone who can help capture Terry Rivera can call Crime Stoppers. That number is 713-222-8477, or more simply, 713-222-TIPS. That's it for this edition of Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow night.
Well, there is an update. The mother's ex-boyfriend was finally caught. He was caught crossing the border, and now he's arrested. I guess he's charged. He's now charged with capital murder. So he's caught. That's a good thing. Now let me recap. The boy jumped in front of his two half sisters that the mother had with her ex-boyfriend that shot him through the open window. Now, if anybody want to go in on a mother for dating thugs, not vetting dudes before they had babies by them, you go right ahead. My issue is with the police department and the DA and the sheriff department for not charging him initially and letting them get away with this in the first place. So that's my issue. That's who I blame the most is the not only the police department but the sheriff's department and the DA, because they took their sweet ass time getting there, and then they had to conduct a 45-minute investigation only to not find anything, only to not charge him with none because he wasn't there. So that's who I point the finger at. I know I usually point the finger at women who had unprotected sex with questionable dudes with checkered past, and their kids having to suffer the price. But anyway, I'm finna bust on out of here. If you like this video, push the like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you later.